Louder. All right, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's getting colder and darker, so, it takes a little more effort to come out. We appreciate you coming to visit us. First, we will start with a salute to the flag and silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Next, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the town clerk of our November 6th meeting.
So move.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next on our agenda is the comments from town residents. We have a very lengthy agenda tonight, so I will ask you that you keep your remarks to 3 minutes or less. And you can come to the podium and talk about basically anything you want to. Wait, whoop, you're in.
That's roll.
Good evening, town board and residents. I'm Major Greg Woodcock, retired from the U.S. Army 24 years, and also the former town councilman in White Creek, New York, which is near Cambridge, Greenwich, Argyle, Salem. I'm here to talk about 3 Malta recommendations. The first recommendation is the town of Malta town offices and the Malta Community Center acquire 2 to 3 LifeVac devices. They're a #1 choking rescue device. They've saved over 5,000 choking victims' lives. And they can be purchased with the travel kit for $69.95, which includes 1 LifeVac face mask, the adult mask, the pediatric mask, and yellow case that carries all of these items. You also, if you order, you get a free fire blanket with the code specified in my notes, FB100. So you would get the LifeVac device and you'd get the fire blanket. It's easy to use. 3 things you have to do. You place it on the person's face that's choking. So placement, then push on the device and then pull. And it takes whatever obstruction you had in your throat and saves your life. So for $70, it's worth considering having here in the town hall offices and also in the community center, #1. #2, I recommend that the Malta Stillwater Ambulance Squad offer a free patient identification capsule, a PIC capsule. It's a clear plastic tube which has red colored caps at the end of the tube. And you fill out the information on the form. It's a medical questionnaire. So if you are handicapped or you're alone and you can't speak for yourself, there's a magnet that goes on your freezer. The rescue squads in the local area are trained to look for that magnet because then they look inside the refrigerator and it will have your first name, the person's doctor and their contact number, person's emergency contact person and their number, person's medications and prescriptions, all right here at the rescue squad that comes to your household, and maybe you can't speak for yourself. This right here could save your life. We have a lot of people that are handicapped and are single and alone. That's my second recommendation. And I'm going to give this to the town clerk to have so she can show it to everybody and you can look at the form. Finally, number 3, recommend that the town of Malta acquire 6 military outdoor service flags with the poles to set up the field of flags. The fields of flags at the Malta Community Center for next Veterans Day, the 11th of November, for the celebration. Now, the Air Force, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, the flag itself, different internet services, you can find out are about $70 a flag, up to about $75 a flag. The pole itself is about $48 to $50 for the pole. They would be set up at the Malta Community Center prior to Veterans Day on the 11th of November. And that would be another honor thing that would tell the community and veterans here in Malta that they are appreciated. I just want to say that they did a wonderful job for Veterans Day with the dinner and the magician. It was fabulous. It was well attended, and I plan on attending the next one. I thank you for your time and consideration. Major Woodcock. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Susan Nuttall, and I am here to address the town board regarding the proposal for a 180-foot cell tower at the New York State Police Barracks, directly adjacent to the established residential neighborhood in Luther Forest. I want to bring attention to a concerning issue. There has been no meaningful response from the town board regarding the state police's decision to place such a large telecommunications structure in the middle of a residential area. Residents have had no clear explanation, no public statement, and no visible effort to advocate on behalf of the homeowners who will be most affected. Equally troubling is the absence of any acknowledgement of how this decision may impact surrounding property values. Across New York State, multiple studies and planning reports have noted that large cell towers can have negative effects on nearby home values. Residents deserve transparency, engagement, and a board that actively represents their interests. At a minimum, we should expect a public explanation of why there was minimal, if any, response to the proposal and no discussion regarding any consequences for homeowners. I respectfully request that the board provide a formal statement addressing these concerns and outline what steps, if any, will be taken to protect the interests of the residents who will live in the shadow of this 180-foot structure. I also have some information I'd like to go through as quickly as I can. I have it prepared if anybody would like to look at it when it's done. It's cell towers and residential property values analysis and supporting studies. The basic summary is multiple peer-reviewed studies and real estate market analysis shows that cell towers located within 500 to 1,500 feet of homes commonly decrease residential property values. Documented value reductions range from 2% to 20%, with higher reductions where towers are tall, for example, 180 feet tall, visual prominence, placed within established neighborhoods or sited close to homes. For Malta specifically, the proposed tower height and residential context suggest moderate to significant impacts consistent with nationwide findings. Impact of towers on residential property values. National findings. Multiple nationwide studies, real estate appraisals, and regression analysis consistently identify negative price impacts. 5 to 10% average reduction within 1,500 feet. 10 to 20% reduction with 500 feet for visually prominent towers. Buyers report reduced desirability due to aesthetics, perceived health concerns, and buyer uncertainty, also known as risk discount. New York State findings. New York specific studies and case documentation indicate similar or greater impacts. Downstate New York analysis report 4 to 12% decreases near cell towers. Several appraisers in New York State FOIL release reports found 8 to 15% loss for homes with direct line of sight. Stronger buyer resistance in suburban communities with established character similar to Malta. Impact in already built residential neighborhoods. Towers placed after homes are built create stronger negative reactions. Market data shows higher discounts in neighborhoods that previously had no such structures. Buyers react to sudden landscape change and fear of long-term effects, called the stigma effect. 180-foot tower is considered high impact due to scale and visual dominance. I also have a picture of that, 1,500. Local analysis for Malta, New York. Existing neighborhood conditions. Malta neighborhoods typically feature residential zoning with consistent streetscapes, modest to high visual sensitivity, strong emphasis on property appearance and rural suburban character. A 180-foot tower would be visible over tree lines and open spaces. Visual impact assessment. Likely local concerns include tower visibility from yards, streets, and second-story windows, night lighting, structural height, out of scale with homes. These factors statistically correlate with higher value discounts. Market sensitivity in Saratoga County. Regional data shows that buyers in Saratoga County prioritize environment, scenery, and low visual intrusion, react negatively to nearby industrial utility structures, are willing to walk away or demand price reductions where towers are visible. This increases expected property value impact. Comparable municipal cases. Nearby towns with similar profiles like Clifton Park, Ballston, and Half Moon have documented strong resident opposition, aesthetic and property value concerns, alternative sitting or co-location solutions as mitigation. Based on nationwide research, New York-specific data, real estate appraisal methodology, and Malta's residential character, a 180-foot tower sited within an existing Malta neighborhood is likely to reduce nearby home values by approximately 5 to 20%, depending on distance and visibility. The town board should weigh neighborhood character, visibility impacts, alternative siting or co-location strategies, and long-term residential desirability. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to leave that with the clerk and then, thank you. And I'm really going to have to ask that you try to limit your remarks. We'll be here till midnight.
Good evening. My name is Lawrence Lieberman. I am the president of Fox One, the West HOA, but tonight I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a resident and homeowner in Luther Forest. Fox One, the West. I live in a community a few feet away from the proposed cell tower with 494 homes and approximately 1,500 people, including families with young children. I was recently informed that the state police plan to build a 180-foot communication tower at the site of the new police barracks on Dunning Street. I was quite surprised at this, since the community received assurances from the town board that this would not occur. Health concerns over the building of a communication tower so close to residential homes, literally a stone's throw away, are significant. Many studies report ill health effects have been reported to include increased cancer, genetic damage, hormonal changes, neurological effects, memory changes, difficulty concentrating, headaches, fatigue, and sleep disturbances. To be transparent, I will note there are many studies that show there are no ill effects caused by communication cell towers. However, a deeper look into these studies may reveal that they are conducted by interested parties, those having a stake to profit by their approval. Studies indicating ill health effects from cell towers have been done worldwide, as well as in the US, and have been peer-reviewed at the highest scientific merit and integrity. On advertisement in the 60s, men dressed in white coats to look like doctors, and doctors themselves took to the media to inform American people that smoking was safe based on clinical studies conducted by reliable sources, and that smoking was even a health benefit. We now know this is not so. Many people died from cancer and continue to, and related diseases from smoking. Just a point to take a critical look at the research used to determine the safety of communication towers. Research should identify who conducted the study, how many participants, over what period of time. Is the study repeatable? Is it peer-reviewed? And is there a larger body of studies that is consistent with just some of the questions to consider when evaluating the validity of a study? The International Association of Firefighters formally statements conclude that cell towers and cell antennas are not to be near fire stations to protect the health of firefighters. The Santa Clara County Medical Association recommends restricting cell towers near schools because the growing robust body of peer-reviewed research has shown that radio frequency radiation poses significant short and long-term health risks. In addition to health risks, the safety area for communication towers is at least 1/4 mile from the site, which would include many homes in Fox Wanda West. Currently, cell tower coverage is between 80 and 100%. So in our community, so the issue becomes: is there a need for additional tower? So in conclusion, the health risks associated with communication towers is significant and may affect people's health who live within 1/4 mile of its location. Another location not in or near a residential community should be considered. The proposed communication tower is located just a few feet from 494 homes with approximately 1,500 people and families with young children. For possible serious health concerns, it is the best interest of those residents to find another location for the tower. And if you have heard this before, it's because last month I read the same statement and submitted it. I'm hoping that the board has taken some actions in regard to this situation. So I'm willing to hear anything from the board now as to what actions you have taken.
This, as you know, this is not a question and answer period. I'm more than happy to call you tomorrow and discuss.
I think the whole community wants to hear what has been
Can
done,
get a group.
because this is really important, and I think you're just pushing it aside.
Yep.
And I'm concerned about that.
Thank you.
Well, I'll leave them with a little something. I mean, you take the time up here to be well thought out and say something. You know, the first thing that you're asking why. Now, you know, on the board's behalf, we thought the tower was staying there and then told, no, it has to go. So that was a change from what our initial response was, because we thought it was going to be staying there, but then they said no. So that's a change of why. And then I think we had the lawyer presentation here. Did I mishear things? I thought they were doing a study and a bunch of agencies getting together, and I asked them what was the time frame, and it said 6 months. I'm making a determination of where, in fact, now, do I think that place over there is the #1 spot? Are they looking too far out? No. But I think she also said, too, that, you know, safety reasons was not in their decision-making realm, and decision-making part of their equation. And
And that they said they would look at other sites.
so, I mean, that's what they said. It's their property. And I'll be honest, that I don't know if the town board is going to have that much ability, besides when they're doing this gathering of the 6 and whatever agencies and whatnot. And remiss on me to not ask the question at the time, you know, was who is the approving authority signature for that tower to finally go there when all the information is gathered together and they make a group decision, or is it one decision? I don't know that. So I won't be here in 6 months, but the board will have plenty of opportunity to dig in and find out what's going on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your response.
We did propose also a possible alternate site. There is a tower in Round Lake that is owned by the same company. So we proposed that instead they locate the equipment onto that existing tower. I don't know if it's feasible or not, but we did reach out to them, so.
Like I said, it would be best to get into the decision-making process, and so, instead of them making a decision, and really find out who the signature authority, and I know it ain't, Governor Hochul, all right, come on. It's who was signing the local thing, hey, go, OGS, go build me a tower. Someone's signing off on that. You gotta find out what that person's name is. And it ain't the major from the police barracks, major.
Anybody else wishing to speak this evening? Okay, we'll move on in our agenda. First is comments from town board and department heads. I have a couple of things. I want to remind everyone that our schedule is a little bit different this month. We are having our business meeting on December 8th to give, in an effort to account for those people traveling for Thanksgiving and maybe not making it back in time. So December 8th at 6 o'clock will be our next town board meeting, our business meeting. I don't see anybody here from Silver Beach, but apparently the survey is done for the Silver Beach Colomer Road issue, and we're just waiting for a report. I expect to have that report within days, certainly before our next meeting. I got the report for the year-to-date dispensary revenues to municipalities, just to put it out there to share it. Year-to-date, the town of Milton's gotten almost $100,000. The town of Half Moon has gotten almost $449,000. Waterford, 126, and Saratoga Springs, 309. For cannabis dispensaries, everybody knows the town of Malta has opted out. Last but not least, I was asked by the sheriff's department to alert residents of a scam that's going around. Basically, somebody who scammed out of $10,000. The scammer left a voicemail message on a victim's phone. They said that there were warrants out for their arrest on a high-profile jury duty case. Basically, they were told that they missed jury duty, and so they were going to get a $10,000 fine, and the victim subsequently sent the scammer approximately $10,000 via Apple Pay. So just a reminder out there, there's a lot of scams. And, if you're not sure, if you get something from the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office that says that you need to pay money, it's probably a scam, but to be safe, you can call the Sheriff's Department. Don't react to anything you just get. So that's all I have. Anybody else? No?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah, first off, I'd like to give a shout out to Melissa, doing a wonderful job, which we talked about earlier, so there you go. But anyhow, I think we would save 100,000, 200, 300,000, and not have a dispensary if we just were frugal in our approach on how we spend money. I wouldn't spend $200,000 to Labella to give us a piece of paper of what a building should look like.
that's a discussion later in the agenda.
I'm just showing you examples how you're saying a dispensary is the answer to our problems. I'm saying not necessary so to make a mere $100,000.
I didn't say that. I was just putting the numbers out there for you.
Well, you're making an insinuation, so I'm just putting it out there too, making insinuations that we waste money with Labella ungodfully a lot. The last kryptonite thing was with the water, and then now we got the courthouse. So I think this town has plenty of opportunity to save money besides selling marijuana.
I
Anybody
guess I
else?
got to say something now too, Al. I agree with Al. The upfront revenue is nice, but believe me, the social impact and what it would cost our town, I'm going to reiterate it again. Our judges in town get called out often in the evening. They're working a part-time job. They come out approximately, I would say, 3 times per week. They are not getting compensated for those extra hours. There is a cost to society, and it is a burden on our town. That's all I'm going to say now. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? All right, I'm gonna, we're doing kind of a little bit of a newish thing here. Tonight, we're going to highlight a department, and tonight's department is animal control. So we have a little brief presentation about what the responsibilities of our animal control officer are. Our animal control officer, who's in the back, is Dave Brown. If we can kind of move ahead to the responsibilities. Basically, he promotes, the department promotes the health, ensure the public health and safety by taking care of dogs. He responds to dangerous dog complaints. He responds to abused dog complaints. He makes sure that dogs that he encounters out there are actually properly licensed. He is very humane in taking charge of the care of dogs. He, if he finds dogs running at large and can't find who they belong to, they go to the Saratoga County Animal Shelter. He provides a valuable service to our residents in this regard. And he provides education and positive reinforcement. One thing to know is if your dog goes missing, the first call you should make is to our animal control officer. It's possible he's already gotten the dog and picked it up and taken it to the shelter, or if he sees your dog and knows it's missing, he can just return your dog to you and won't be running at large. But better make sure that you won't have to go to the shelter, but make sure it's licensed, because otherwise he's not going to like it. So if we go on to the next one, so with regard to licensing, that actually is done through the town clerk's office. Any dog that's 4 months of age or older has to be licensed in the municipality that the dog resides in. Just reach out to the clerk's office and they will give you any information that you need on that.
How much does a license cost?
Spayed or neutered animals are $10. Unspayed, unneutered is $18.
There you go.
And I think his number's on the next slide, so take note of that. It's also on our website, so. And I think Mr. Brown wants to say a few words. I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't want his job. It's not an easy job. He sees a lot of,
If everybody takes my number down, it's not a bad thing. Hang it wherever. I mean, it doesn't matter. You call the sheriff's department, state police, they all got it. It's on the website. But anyways, yeah, I got that job that nobody kind of wants to do and everybody wants to be your boss type thing when you go to a call. So it is what it is. So I'm fortunate. I got law enforcement in my background. I'm retired. I did not retire from law enforcement, but between the sheriff's department, the park police, and Ballston Spot Police. So I got a lot of knowledge in my background as far as the laws. And I work with a couple deputies, Deputy Leah Howe and Deputy Nikki Vogler. They're great deputies. They're the ones kind of assigned to, they're both canine officers. They've been to a ton of training. They're probably caught up to me now in training with neglect. So you hear all about the neglect cases. So probably out of, I'm going to say there's 2% out of all the calls that we get that may be neglect. And there's so many different things about neglect. So my thing is if somebody thinks that it's neglect or they're not sure, call. I'll investigate it. If I think it needs to go further, I'll reach out to the 2 deputies and then they'll take care of it. So in my position here with the town, I can only write under part of agricultural market law, part of ENCON law, and the town ordinance. So animal neglect starts with a misdemeanor and it goes to felonies. So you need an ORI number, which you got to belong to a police department to be able to make those arrests. So these 2 deputies, they do an outstanding job. And then with that being said, I'll take the animal that's the accuser's being charged with neglect, I bring it to a vet. and we use Kelly at the Saratoga County Animal Shelter. She'll do the follow-up. If she's telling us that, yep, definitely you have something here, she's the expert, then I reach out to one of the town of Malta's justices and I get a hold order. So the dog will stay in the pound until the case is resolved. So, you know, it's a long process. You got tons of hours involved, but it's worth it at the end. And just throwing out a few other things. So, you know, my job, it's just not picking up dogs. I answer, you know, barking dog complaints. And usually we get a ton of them in the spring. We're fortunate in the winter, we don't get too much. Summertime, as the supervisor said, that, you know, you got to have your dog license. Well, you got to have your dog license, but also, if I come across, say if I get a barking dog complaint or a dog running at large, when I get to the residence, if the person, most of the time they say, what's a license? My vet didn't tell me about it. Well, the vets don't have to tell you. It's a state law. So I just enforce it on the town side. So at that point, it's $25 extra on top of the 10 because we want people to be in compliance with the town. So when the clerk every year sends out, what do you send it, a month prior, right? Their license. So she'll send out a month prior, hey, listen, your dog license is coming up. We want people to renew their license. You know, we don't want it to go past the 30 days because then it's an extra $20. It's like a surcharge. So if people license their dogs when the clerk sends everything out, it's perfect. A couple of the other jobs I have to do as far as animal control. I don't want to gross anybody out, but unfortunately everybody dies, you know. So I get a call, Sheriff's Department, State Police are at a scene of an unattended death. Okay, I have to remove the dog. And it's usually the dog goes out before the body goes out. So a lot of times the dogs are aggressive. And it's not because it's a mean dog, it's because they don't want to be pulled out of that situation. We've had, the last one I had here in Malta was down on Route 9. It was a police chase. The guy committed suicide. Well, guess who has to go inside that vehicle before the body's taken out and get the dog out? Now you just got a dog that you heard the dog heard a gunshot go off, doesn't know what it is, the owner's not responding, boom, I got to go grab the dog. So it's not the best of a job. I love the job because I love animals, and that's what it all falls down to. And I try to go above and beyond, you know, real quick because I know everybody wants to go. But one of the good ones I had is off of exit 11. The guy called me up, Officer Brown, can you help me out? And I said, yeah, what's up? He goes, my wife came home with this animal. It doesn't belong in our house. Can you come over? I go over. I said, yeah, sir, what's up? He goes, it's in my living room. Okay. She brought a fawn to her house. She was out walking her dog. The fawn followed her. So then I had to find out where she was. I got the fawn in the back of my cage so it didn't get hurt. I drove to the general area because as long as you're within a mile, according to DEC, that hopefully the mother will find it. So that's what I did. I dropped it back off. But I could tell you stories all day long. You don't want to listen to me talk. Anyways, I appreciate everything. I've been with Malta since 2016. And if anybody has any questions, anything at all, reach out to me and I'll try to help you out.
Thanks, Brian. And he really is a fantastic dog warden, so, and deals with a lot of stuff that you wouldn't believe. So we have some action items tonight. That's not usually this is usually our agenda meeting where we don't take action, but because it's year end, we have some deadlines to account for, so we are going to take some action tonight. The first is in our 2026 budget, we appropriated for a full-time confidential secretary for the highway superintendent. So we're going to establish that position.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? We have to approve the vendor service agreement with Prestige Services. That is the community center vending machines. It expires on December 2nd before our next meeting.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We also have to renew our Town of Malta Volunteer Firefighter Service Award Program with Penflex Actuarial Services. They manage our, the LoSAP program for firefighters, the Service Award Program. And that actually expired October 31st.
So move.
I got a question on that.
I got a question
Barb,
too.
second? Yeah,
I thought that was January to January, that
no,
program.
November to November.
There is a committee set up for that service award, and I believe I'm on that.
Yes.
When was the last time they met to review the outstanding funding on
I
that?
don't know, but we were just talking recently that we are going to probably get together and meet.
Julia's got the answer right back there.
So the couple findings I found the last minutes or meeting minutes were back from 2017 when the plan was originally, was changed from $10 per month for services to 20. So I'm assuming that's when the committee last
Yep.
met.
I think they met after that too. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we
I
will
think it's
be,
about time.
we'll be, I mean, we have to, we're going to reappoint a committee at our organizational meeting, and then we will convene, because there are a couple of other issues that we need to discuss. So, any other discussion?
There was no second.
Huh?
I didn't hear a
Second.
second.
Barb,
Barbara?
yeah. You made the motion, Al.
I will second.
She's second, right. Any further discussion?
Yeah, let's talk about this for a while. No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And in order to meet the deadline for the Saratoga County Planning Board and to keep moving this project, the rezoning project along, and hopefully finish it up before the end of the moratorium expires, I'm proposing that we refer the zoning changes to the Saratoga County Planning Board tonight. Their deadline is Thursday or next, we don't meet again before their deadline. We've completed the changes for a couple of parts of the changes and reviews for some of our zoning code. The general zoning, chapter 167, and the form-based code are ready to go to the county. So in order to keep us on track, I want to send that tonight. There is still some work left to be done. Some of the language of the Plan Development District legislation is not complete, so we're not actually sending that. I think we can do that separately at a later date. We're going to be having a presentation on December 8th regarding the, some of the PDD density issues that we've been talking about. Work left to be done after this is our consultant, Barton and LaJudas, is working on updating the townwide generic environmental impact statement and developing a finding statement for us. But in the meantime, we can get the county looking at it, because it's a
Supervisor,
lot.
I know I was asked to re-review this, and I did miss a item in the proposed resolution that would require amendment. It would be to delete the last whereas paragraph. It does going to continue to require some potential seeker determinations. So we should, at this point, we're not making those determinations, but this is such a lengthy document with so many changes, we want to get it to
Yeah.
the county as soon as possible. So
Right.
I would request that the board consider amending the resolution to delete the last whereas provision.
Okay, I mean, we don't have a motion to second yet, but should they
Well, we have
do
a,
that, then amend it?
Can't we do that now?
We make the amendment motion first.
Okay. Anyone?
So move for the amendment motion to put the correct language into the resolution.
So it is reducing the last whereas the proposed action is type 2 action under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and thus no further environmental review is required. Now, and you're right, that should come out, so, agreed.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then I'll entertain a motion to accept the resolution as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion?
Yes. Could we all get a copy of that? before it's sent out?
Well,
Or
it's
Is it,
it's a very large document, and it's all on the, should be on the website. I don't think the form-based code is up there yet, though.
is
but
it
it will be.
outlined
Yes.
on the web?
And yes, it's in the building and planning webpage, and it is, on the side, there is a category that says rezoning or something. You click on that, all of the documents
And
from
it's
all
all
of the meetings
outlined.
we've had, yes,
Thank you.
are there. So, I don't, like I said, the form-based code may not be there quite yet, but it will be, so. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Last but not least is the highway superintendent has found 2 more heavy equipment operators that he would like to add to his team. So I will entertain a motion to hire 2 new people.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Roger, does that get you up to full strength yet?
No, still down one.
Now, we have several discussion items. First is, as I mentioned before, we have hired Barton and LaJudas as a consultant to help us through the rezoning process. In our efforts to expedite the rezoning project, the original scope of services that they prepared was disrupted. In order for the consultant to actually complete the townwide GEIS and the statement of findings on our behalf, they have asked for an amendment to their original contract. So we're proposing that it'd be an additional compensation for their reimbursable expenses to be estimated at $12,000. So that will be a resolution that I'm hoping we act on December 8th. Anybody have any other questions about it? For just an FYI for the timeline that we expect, we referred it tonight to the Saratoga County Planning Board. We will, at our next meeting, we will be declaring ourselves as lead agency. I think that's a discussion, on the next discussion item. We expect the county review to be done in December. We should have the draft supplemental townwide generic environmental impact statement by the end of December. And at the town board meeting in January, we would have hopefully a positive declaration for the state environmental quality review. We'll have a public hearing and a public information session for the draft changes and a final townwide generic environmental impact statement by the end of January, and the finding statement and adoption in February, which keeps us in the line of the.
So we're paying these guys $12,000 to come up with an environmental statement for us?
No, it's more than that. What they do, what the townwide generic environmental impact statement does is it takes, well, first of all, it'll identify all of the changes that have been made since the last one was adopted. And it will add all of that to it, and then it takes the proposed changes to our zoning and evaluates what the environmental impacts will be for that, for those particular actions. So changes like build-outs and traffic calculations and all sorts of stuff. It's a pretty complicated.
Did you
Document.
state that it's going to be over $12,000?
They have an estimated cost to finish the project at $12,000. They were kind of anticipating that we would do part of this in-house, but in discussions with the planning staff, they just simply don't have the time or the resources to do it. They're a very busy little office, so.
So we just stood up some environmental, think tank or credits, Tabuki group, what is that? That can't do this?
But I don't know what you're talking about, what you're referring to.
Or did we just join something to get environmental credits?
That's totally different. This is, like I say, a document that's, it's a companion document to the comprehensive plan, let's say that. It takes the changes.
I can't wait to read it.
Okay, good.
Why is it only estimated and not firm? If they know
Maybe they won't,
they
maybe
have-
they won't have to spend that much. That would be the maximum that we're allowing at this point.
And they knew when they entered into this contract what they had to do, but it's expanded now?
Yes and no. The scope is different than what the original scope was. And it's turned out to be a huge process, so.
Yeah, the original contract did not include a complete update to our townwide
Yep.
GIS.
So
was
it
an
wasn't
exclusion.
included
It
in
wasn't.
the
It was-
contract.
Correct. It was, it's in the contract that work would be done, but that to complete that would not be covered by the initial contract. That was discussed at the time, and there's also been some savings that have been occurred from the town, I believe, in the work that the town has done with respect to this. So if I'm not mistaken, that $12,000 is the total to complete the job,
Yes.
not just for the townwide GEIS.
Thanks, Steve.
And just for the board members and the public, you know, Malta's been ahead of the game for a long time with the townwide GEIS. It's been a document, if I'm not mistaken, since 2006. It's been updated for minor things, but in light of the comprehensive plan and now a zoning update, it needs a major update. Along the way, we've done several in-house updates
Right.
to the plan. Didn't require us going out. It's a very, very lengthy document that, and it does also benefit the town for future projects, because if the town considers the environmental impacts of these things, that really streamlines potentially the process in the future. Because any development that's consistent with the townwide GIS doesn't necessarily need
Need further
further
review,
seeker
right.
review. So it's a modern approach. Not all towns have adopted a townwide GEIS, but it helps the board and guides the board in its determination to adopt the zoning update. So it says, these are the significant impacts, these are the findings that we're making with respect to the proposed build-out changes, things that have increased, how they would impact the environment. And then future projects that are consistent with that may not necessarily need in the board's determination to comply. So that's really kind of a summary of what we're talking about.
Thanks, Steve. So also as part of that process, the town of Malta needs to declare ourselves as lead agency for the purpose of the environmental review. The process involves notifying any other involved agencies, and those would be, the towns, all of the towns surrounding us, Saratoga County, probably the fire companies. I don't remember offhand who all of the involved agencies are. But once we do that and notify them, there's a 30-day waiting period. I don't expect that any other agencies will actually want to be lead agency, and then at the end of that 30 days, we'll declare ourselves as lead agency and proceed with the secret review. Next is a proposal for Labella for preparing bid documents for a proposed new court. I'm not going to make, with my remarks here, there's a couple of people in the room very happy, but I have come to the conclusion that I do not support moving ahead with this project at this time. I think it would be fiscally irresponsible for us to do so. Borrowing money isn't really an option because without a town tax, we don't have revenues to pay the bond, which in this case would be almost $500,000 a year. We do have outstanding bonds. We have a bond at the community center that expires is done in 2028. We have a rather large bond for the purchase of Manginos that goes until 2037. as well as the in excess of $14 million that we borrowed for the purchase of Saratoga Water Services. According to our town attorney, I have an email from him. Town law requires that we have competitive bidding. And the competitive bidding will require plans stamped by an engineer before we can go out. And also, if we were to move forward without an engineer, say, who would field the questions? If you send out a bid and then the potential request for bids, and then the potential bidder has to ask questions of somebody. Who are they going to call? Me? So I don't, just don't think that's feasible. The proposal that Labella put together to do a bid package is in excess of $200,000. We know that. But it isn't just throwing up a building either. There are other things to consider. There's site work. I mean, the original proposal that they gave us, building the courthouse itself is $2.7 million, but there's another $1.1 million worth of site work that needs to be done before it can be done. And this is not the only space needs that we have. But, we have a whole department out in a temporary trailer out in the parking lot. I think that we have more, we have to look at our capital plans as a comprehensive plan. And so our comptroller and I have started working on what we will see as a 5-year capital plan. We'll try to figure out how we can actually save money to go along, so it doesn't all have to be borrowed, and really drill down on our space needs. We have appropriated money in our 2026 budget to remedy some of the problems with the Americans with Disability Act issues for the current court. But I'm afraid if we forge ahead now, we will be rushing to failure.
So is there any other options?
I think that we need to, like I say, have a 5-year comprehensive plan and plan out
I agree with that.
basically,
But
where we go.
at this time, the courthouse does not, it's in violation of several laws. How are we going to
We-
address those?
We appropriated money in the 2026 budget to remedy the Americans with Disability Act issues.
And when will that be done?
And we can start looking at it in January, as soon as the new budget takes effect.
And how about our trailer that is out there that's costing us
Again, I think
a
that's,
certain amount of funds?
again, I think that's something that we really need to, identify and address in a comprehensive capital plan. We haven't gotten we've pretty much identified the capital improvements that need to be
How
made.
can I be guaranteed that 5-year plan will happen?
But we're working on it now. You can start nagging me about it.
I will.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm with you, Cindy. I don't like to rush to failure. That's a true statement. But to me, getting a new courthouse is very doable. And, I'm sure I can hear 100 reasons why no, instead of reasons why yes. It doesn't have an engineer stamp. Well, why don't we put the bid out for the bidders to provide that engineer service? Why are we doing it? It all depends how you word it. You don't have to put out much besides give me a 20,000 square foot building, make it code compliant. What do you got for me? Cost us nothing to look at it and let them certify it with their engineers. To get money, I could, again, we'll be here all day talking about the 100 reasons why no. I think it's a very doable thing. The future, this municipality, this town of Malta deserves a new, be commensurate of other towns, and instead of I don't want to offend the judges here, but that building is, commendable. Not commendable. What's the word I'm looking for?
Condemnable.
It's a piece of garbage, all right? There you go. But anyhow, that's for a fight for a different day, but that's just my feelings.
Question. You specified that the Saratoga Water Services buyout on that bond, the way I understand it is the district itself is
That-
paying that
that is
bond
true.
off, right?
That is true.
So it really isn't a
Right. I mean, right.
cost, a direct cost
But,
to the town, right?
but it also adds to our, our debt limit, which we're not in danger of exceeding the debt limit. But we also still have the Mangino's one for another 12 years.
And we can't sell that right now.
We cannot sell that.
So you're not suggesting that we don't do another bond until at least one or two other ones are paid off? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and until we actually can put money in a reserve and pay cash for part of it.
Well, again, I could be very creative, but tonight's not the night of what I would slash. I'd get you $1 million real fast, but anyhow.
Barb, do you have any?
No, I am actually, again, probably incurring the displeasure of our justices, and I'm sorry. But I'm kind of glad that this is your proposal. I've felt we looked at not very many options. I was uncomfortable about looking at just a one-story building, looking at our debt, looking at our other obligations and priorities. I'm sure it needs to be done at some point, but I'd like to look at some other options.
Open the whole thing up.
Right. So it's not no forever, but I think it's no for now, and I can support that.
All right, we have another kind of interesting issue. Anybody else have any other comments? I don't know how interesting it is, but we, back in 2024, we did repairs on Old Post Road. At that time, we got a proposal from our engineer for construction observation services. And when we were on site before the work started, the contractor doing the work said that the proposal from Labella was to do the on-site inspections for a week. When we were at the pre-construction meeting, the contractor said that it would be more than a week. So Labella supposedly sent a proposal for additional services, which is basically additional on-site inspection for another 5 days or something like that. And we never adopted it. Why, I have no idea. I don't remember seeing it. So they are requesting that we pay an additional $9,300 for construction inspection services for the repairs of Old Post Road.
Well, let's stay consistent. Well, what else LaBella's going to hit us up for today? Anything else?
I don't know, Roger, do you recall that conversation?
Let's put it all in one big bill.
Do you know how?
I thought it was all closed out and done.
Do you know how long it took? Can we go back and look at that?
Not off the top of my head. Didn't you just say it was a week of
No, well,
inspection services?
Originally, that's what their proposal was, a week. But when we were there,
It was
the
longer?
contractor said it would be longer. And I know it was longer than a week.
How much longer?
They're saying, and they proposed another $9,300, so I don't know.
Yeah, what did they
An
explain? in
extra 5 working days. It's noted in our proposal, March 15th, 2024, our estimated fee for construction inspection was based on anticipated 5 working days. Per discussion at the project site meeting held on April 25th, it was noted that the contractor's schedule under the emergency declaration would exceed the previously authorized 5 working days. And Labella's services would be required for the duration of the construction. So, like I say, I don't remember seeing this particular request, but it doesn't mean that it
Thank you.
didn't come. So I don't know how you feel about that.
I'll
I have no
to
feelings about it.
Find out about it.
Okay, well, then probably we'll put that on for a resolution next week, and we'll see how it flies. Next 4 items on here are 4 routine year-end resolutions that we will see next week. The establishment of the fee schedule, which is the fees that we charge for everything, pavilions and building permits and all of that. We'll establish the 2026 wage and salary structure. We'll establish the 2026 wage and salary schedule. and will authorize vacation carryover for employees that didn't use all of their vacation. They're allowed to carry over some. Those are routine. One of the other things that we agreed to in our proposed 2026 budget was to amend the town employee handbook regarding a boot allowance. As part of the adopted budget, we increased the boot allowance for non-union employees that are eligible. Then we need to change the manual because that specific cost is. Yeah, because some of our people were complaining you can only buy one boot for what we were appropriating. So hopefully that'll help. We've been asked by the town justices to not discuss tonight the next item on our agenda, which is the justices' eligibility for benefits. So I will put that on again in the future when they're more prepared to talk about it. Next three are new positions that we created in the 2026 budget. We are going to establish a part-time video position. We're finding that the clerk is trying to do too many things, and it would be better to actually have somebody else that can just do only that in the meeting instead of trying to run the meeting. I do want to take the opportunity, though, now to thank the clerk for the time that she has spent doing a job that is outside of her job duties and complicated, and you've done a fine job, and thank you so much for being a team player there.
Thank you for the recognition.
And the goal was also not just to stream this meeting, but also to do the zoning and planning also, to get as much transparency out there as possible. You know, one of the biggest complaints through the years I've heard is, well, we don't know what's going on at some of the other meetings. They can't attend. Now they'll be on line in perpetuity.
Another position that we established was a part-time typist for the building and maintenance department, just an admin person to help him with his job. And we're establishing a full-time recreation leader position, which that we would promote a part-time person to a full-time position at the community center. So again, just positions created as a result of the 2026 adopted budget. Next, so Saratoga County Saratoga County for the past year and a half has been working on a hazardous mitigation action plan. They asked all of the municipalities to participate and identify possible hazards, environmental hazards, any kind of hazards really, in your municipality. And they did it's taken the better part of 2 years to put together a hazardous mitigation action plan. The plan is available on the Saratoga County website. There is a specific section that is Malta. It's called the Malta Annex, where our hazards are identified, and the process that we're going through to try to mitigate some of those is all on there. So they, as part of this process, each municipality has to pass a resolution to adopt the plan. So next week, we will have a resolution for the town of Malta to adopt the Saratoga County Hazardous Mitigation Action Plan. We, for the past couple of years, have had an intermunicipal agreement with the city of Saratoga Springs regarding animal control. They quite often, not about quite often, they periodically need the help of our animal control officer. And so we share services with Saratoga County. This agreement allows us to charge the city for his services. So we'll see that. Last, but certainly not least, we are going to hopefully award a bid for the new Knapp Road Wellfield telemetry. Because of inconsistencies with the bidding process, we needed to rebid this process. And now our engineer for water has recommended that we accept the general controls systems proposal at a cost of $28,434. This just is an FYI, this is something that was particularly called out in our in our evaluation of buying Saratoga Water Services, the engineer that evaluated the system for us, CT Mail, they said that this was something that was going to need to be done, that it's all the original telemetry, and our water superintendent would really like to get it done. I think it'll save him some headaches. So we will have that, accepting that bid as an option next week. Anything else?
I do. I got two things. First, I see Dom and I see Alex in the room, new council person that's going to be on a new board. Congratulations. Good luck. One bit of advice, ask questions. 'Cause you got to get to the bottom of it, not half-truths. But anyway, good luck. Well deserved. And second, who's the spokesman for the high school group out there?
Yep.
Need to pick one.
Yeah, somebody.
Come on up here, hurry up. You're not going to sign. You're not going to get credit.
Yeah.
I got two questions. There we go. You thought you were going to get over easy. Just sit in the back, we're going to sign, you get credit. What high school you guys belong to?
So we're actually coming from the Clean Technology School over in Luther
Okay.
Oh,
Forest.
that's our close college over there. Right? Step up, I like it.
Yeah.
What class are you guys in?
Well, some of us are from an engineering pathway, and I think one of them is from entrepreneurship and cybersecurity.
I'll sign 2 of your forms if you get 10 more to come next time, all right?
Okay.
All
say
right.
So.
You're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Anything else?
I got a comment.
Okay.
I would like to extend my hand out and congratulate our supervisor for being appointed to the county safety transition committee going forward. That's a heck of an honor.
It is, the Transition Task
you should
Force.
be
Yep.
Very, very
Yep,
happy
I am.
that you're on that.
I met with him recently. It's for the newly elected district attorney. He asked me to be on his transition team, so I was quite pleased and
Congratulations.
accepted readily. Yep.
Yeah, congratulations. I got one alibi. I hope you're all not offended here that I called you in high school. You know, when you get older, you're going to wish to be called back, be younger, all right? So, that's all I got.
Any other additional comments from the audience?
Good evening, everybody. I am Justice Sloat from our town of Malta Court, and I'm here tonight to talk about the court. Disturbingly, I heard earlier that you're not supporting building a new court.
At this time.
Some of the reasons that you said was because of financial reasons. The court is deeply, deeply in violation of the law of ADA. We had lots of meetings at the beginning of the year, months we spent, both myself and my fellow judge and the chief clerk, making sure that the next building that we built would not be in violation of the law. You talked about some of the financial problems you have, the community center, Mangino's, and Saratoga Water Services. Well, the last two were built after this board and your former boards were notified about these violations. This isn't a nice thing to do. This is something that's mandated, and it appears to me the only way that this town board will make it a priority, instead of some of these nice-to-do things, is when a regulatory agency comes in, like the New York State Office of Human Rights or the federal government, regarding the fact that you are not fixing the problems. It's nothing new. I seen the 2013 memo, which I wasn't even the judge at the time, that listed them. There's more. If a person in a full-size wheelchair comes in after a rainstorm, they can't get in the building, because on the north side of the building is an aluminum ramp which gets flooded, and I've given you pictures of that. Once that person gets in the courthouse, they can't use the restrooms because the door is less than 34 inches. As far as I'm concerned, that's your number one priority, fixing something that's in violation of law. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. It's Jim Fauci, the other judge here in Malta. It is the first time I'm hearing of anyone on the board here not in favor of going forward with the courthouse too. So it's pretty disheartening with all the work we've put into it. I've been at this for going on 13 years now, trying to get a new courthouse. Just because it's, out of compliance with the ADA, that's one thing. But you can't fix the courthouse just by fixing some items. It's just not a safe building anymore for a modern courthouse. And with the standards that New York State has put out for courthouses, it just doesn't work. You just can't rearrange it. It's already that was already done. Walls were moved. It was done to make it as safe as possible and to make the flow work, but it doesn't work anymore. It's extremely dysfunctional. If you look at the modern standards that you should have, you'll see how we are at risk there. Our employees, our clerks, the judges, the separation from inmates when they get brought in, there's no holding area. Anything could happen at any time now. And if you had the chance to go and look at other town courthouses that have been built, I think you'll understand maybe more of what we're talking about. It's going to cost a lot of money. That's what government spending is. So I think it takes the resolve here to go forward. I think what we're hearing as well, we're not going to do it yet. We've heard that again and again and again through the years, the decades now, and it just doesn't happen. I think I understand the budget issues for sure, but I think you can sell parkland. That happens all the time. It's a big hoop to jump through. But if that Mangino property isn't going to really be used and it's just lingering there, doing nothing, I think you can look into that as a certain revenue source. I don't think, as far as the RFP goes, I'd certainly question that, what these engineers have said, what the cost would be. Certainly, I know from my experience, it shouldn't cost that much. This is what their estimate is. They're not the ones that are going to respond to an RFP anyway. So I don't understand also why, I think I heard that it's going to cost $200,000 just to do the RFP and deal with it. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I'd really have to, I'd like to sit down potentially and listen to what the engineers have to say about that and why it would, but they're estimating it takes that much. And if that can't be explained or they stick by it, maybe it's time to get new engineers for the town, because these prices that they're putting out there are outrageous. And I know from other municipalities of what it takes to build the kind of building that we're talking about. It's not the Taj Mahal, just a functional courthouse that's safe. So I hope it's not tabled forever. I mean, we'll still be asking like we have every single budget year, and keep going forward until hopefully something gets done. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. And by the way, that proposal is available on the website. It's more than just the bidding process. So if you want to take a look at it, there's all sorts of stuff, lot consolidation, SWIPs. So, yeah, I mean, I know it's disappointing.
You add to that 100 reasons no, now you got 102 you just gave. No more reasons no.
Anything else from anybody? Well, then I want to take the opportunity to wish everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving, a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks, everybody.